Hey, Shackers! It's time for another episode of This Week in Switch 2, which is the podcast born out of us not getting early access to the review unit of Switch 2 and Mario Kart World, which I haven't reviewed either of them yet, but I am working on it. I'm Asif Khan. I'm the CEO, Editor-in-Chief, EIEIO of Shacknews. That stands for Extremely Intelligent Extreme Intelligence Officer, which is not a made-up title. It's actually designed to increase our valuation, which it's actually doing every week. Each week we do this. Each week I say that. We gain at least a few $1 million in valuation because AI is crumbling now. So yeah, I'm joined by my usual co-hosts here. We got news editor Donovan Erskine.
Hello.
And long reads editor David Craddock.
For this episode, Asif, I go by Hornet and only Hornet.
Okay? I see. Well, hello, Hornet and only
Hello.
Hornet.
Yes.
Yeah, let's just get into it. No one wants to talk about anything else, really, on the internet. We can see that through our analytics. Hollow Knight Silksong is out, and we have a team of people here at Shacknews playing the game, mapping it, writing guides, capturing gameplay, doing no damage boss runs. I know TJ's been doing that, streaming it. We had Sam Chandler and TJ Denzer both streamed it over the last few days. So yeah, and then David, you've been playing it, as I would say the champion of the original Hollow Knight at the 2017 Shacknews Awards deliberations. This was that your game in 2017? Was that your game of the year in 2017?
No, it was Breath of the Wild that year.
Yeah, that was a stacked year.
If not for Breath of the Wild, I think Silksong would have been my game of the year, though.
It was like your indie game of the year, probably.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And it was kind of an indie breakthrough. I don't know. Did they still do that at the Jeff Awards? Breakthrough indie. No?
I don't know. If this year Silksong can't win, because I think there has to be a category for like most anticipated or game we weren't sure if it would deliver, because there were a lot of questions wrong with Silksong, right? Like, it's been 8 years. So who knew? Who knew it was going to happen?
Yeah. I think it's silly to give awards to most anticipated, but I know that they do that.
Yeah.
I know that they certainly do that. And now it's a whole discussion of what is now the most anticipated game now that Silksong is out. And also,
the subject of our own Shack Chat was like, what's the new white whale that you wish for?
And hey, it went viral over there on Blue Sky, however you define viral, but it certainly got people talking. I saw some people talking about Shenmue 4. I saw a Scanner, one of our guys writers, Aiden, he mentioned Astral Chain 2. I was like, that's an interesting one.
There you go.
Hadn't really thought of that. But yeah.
I said Haunted Chocolatier, which is the next game from the Stardew dev Concerned Ape.
Mm-hmm.
That one's going to be a long while. I'm ready for that.
But you know what? I think based on the results here with Silksong, David, and you can speak to this, take your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a recap, nobody got review keys for this because the developer Team Cherry said, hey, we want to service our fans first. And also the reason behind the delay was just taking our time. And this is a testament to taking your time. This game is absolutely stellar, just phenomenal. I've played about 13 hours since it came out on, what was that, Thursday, I think?
Yeah.
And I love this game. It has pinpoint precision platforming, which I'm all about. It has Souls-like mechanics. I would also say it's more challenging. I don't seek out hard games, but I appreciate them in a certain context, and this is one of those contexts where the boss fights are a lot of fun. Like, I've kind of hit my head against a few of them for a little while, but they're really fun. I know the patterns. I just have to execute, and that's the sort of gameplay I really appreciate, execution. And man, this game is just good.
And that goes back to the Metroid and the Castlevania of it all, right? Like the Metroidvania aspect, that a Metroid boss battle is very rules based, and once you learn the different phases and the moves and where to be standing at certain moments, it's not that it becomes easier, but it is trial and error where you to perfect a boss battle in both Silksong and these Metroidvanias. I think it's really funny seeing people realize that the Vania part of Metroidvania stands for Castlevania, because I saw a lot of people comparing the movement of Silk to the movement of Alucard, which I believe is
Hornet.
Hornet. Hornet? Oh, sorry, Hornet.
Hornet, yeah, but
Sorry, my bad. But the movement of Hornet is similar to Alucard, which is, was that from Symphony of the Night? Or yeah. So like, hey kids, Castlevania was a game that existed a long time ago, and it's great. You should check them out. There was a great collection that dropped a few years ago for it. But yeah, I thought that was pretty amusing. People were like, they stole it. I'm like, no, it's just inspired by, and that's a good thing. I haven't played it. I'll be honest with you. I'm a bad games journalist. I was busy trying to finish Donkey Kong Bonanza, which we'll talk about later in this show. But yeah, I watched a lot of gameplay. I've been in the staff discussions about this game in the maps channel, talking about the map of the game and what we're doing on that front. But yeah, you should check it out if you are playing the game. We have a pretty solid shack map for it. We're still filling it out, but a lot of locations of the benches and stuff.
I believe it's one of the most complete on the internet right now. I believe
it's it was as of Friday. I think some people maybe caught up over the weekend, and now we're ahead again. Like, who knows? But you know, we're working pretty hard on completing that. Hopefully by the end of the week, it'll be pretty close to done. But yeah, it's definitely more improved than it was when we launched it. We have like icons and stuff on it now, so yeah, it's a lot more polished. But it's a good example of how we're probably going to be handling big games when they launch on the Shack Maps platform. So yeah, David, the traversal seems to be the big difference, right?
Yeah, there are a lot of different forms of locomotion and others that build on Hollow Knight. They have kind of what you would expect from this type of game. There's a dash, there's a wall jump, there's a double jump, but then you also have you have kind of familiar mechanics with a twist on them. Like in Hollow Knight, you could do kind of like a downward thrust to kind of pogo on enemies. But in this game, you do a diagonal down thrust, so it makes you rethink angles. Asif, I sent you that video over the weekend of I was like pogoing off flowers over spikes. And you have to really think about your approach more. It's not just like hop, 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 hop. You have to really get the angle right. You're doing a lot of mid-air adjustments to it.
Yeah, because the bounce back is going to push you towards like a spike wall, so you have to almost like push away from it as you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, the first Hollow Knight was definitely, it resembled Zelda 2 with the downstab mechanic. This, I think this is also kind of like a dive kick kind of feel to it, but like, I'm not sure.
Actually, that's a pretty good comparison. And in fact, actually, just recently, this is like a minor spoiler, it's no big deal, but I got so you have crests, and you equip a different crest, and what crests do is they change your combat mechanics, so you can completely change the way Hornet fights. And I got a crest that gives you the downward stab back. So for people who liked Hollow Knight's locomotion better, that is an option. However, it also changes your horizontal thrust. Like I noticed that like if I do a jump attack at enemies, my sword or my needle actually goes like right over their head. So you have to rethink combat entirely depending on which crest you equip.
I believe it's called Wanderer.
It is.
The crest.
It is.
I saw TJ post about that on social this weekend. But yeah, it gives you the people who are like, I want to play, this like Hollow Knight. You still can. Well, thanks,
Although
Windows
that's
Defender.
Different because when you have Windows Defender,
Windows Defender decided to show up during the podcast.
When you do that downward thrust, though, it's interesting. You kind of hover for a second before you do it. So it's not as easy as, I'm playing Hollow Knight now. You have to really think about timing. And that's what this game is. It's precision and timing. It's everything I want out of a platformer like this.
I think, like, to continue on your point there, David, about precision, even when you, like, heal yourself, right? Because playing on Switch 2, which I've been doing as well, like, you hold, like, the A button to regain health if you've got, like, the, like, meter filled up. But even when you do that, Hornet freezes wherever you are for, like, 1 to 2 seconds and does the quick animation. And I've gotten killed in bosses, like, mid-air thinking I could get a heal off. And within that, like, 1 second window, they just swipe me and, like, take my last bit of health away. So you really do have to think about every input in that game.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I noticed that like during boss fights, as you learn their patterns and you need to heal, you often have to. So the first thing you do is to charge that meter, you have to hit enemies. And you get like one little bar every time you hit an enemy. So what you have to do during boss fights is if you can heal, you often have to choose between do I want to get a hit in or do I heal now during a certain part of their pattern. So you're constantly making those. And I feel like that's where a lot of the Souls-like mechanics, like Souls is all about the difficulty of those games is overblown. They're not really difficult. They just kind of punish recklessness. And I mean, they're challenging for sure, but I think there's people will say, "Oh, this game's so hard." They're talking like NES hard, right? Like Souls games aren't NES hard; they're just challenging. But it's about timing and precision, and that is very evident in Hollow Knight and Silksong.
Yeah, I think it's not that Souls games are hard. It goes back to that point I was making about the bosses in Hollow Knight and Silksong, where it's practice, it's repetition. Like once you learn how the enemies behave, it becomes easier. I will say that the timing in a Souls game with like the parry mechanic in certain Souls games is like hugely important. But that was also true in Metroid Dread. You know, like we've seen it. Yeah. We've seen it in other games. I think even is it Expedition 33 has a parry mechanic, Donovan?
Yep.
So yeah, like that's something you find in a lot of games now. It's not necessarily just Souls thing. But yeah, I do think that gets blown out of proportion at times. Although I suck at Souls games, so I guess that means I'm reckless.
I think it's just, you have to play those times. I mean, you made a great point, Asif. Like, you have to play enough to learn patterns, to do the repetition, because that's, in Souls games, it's not like the maps aren't random, the enemy placement isn't random. You'll always find the enemies and the items in the same places. You just need to learn the lay of the land. And that's what I find myself doing in Silksong. And it's also difficult because there is a map in the game, but you have to find the map vendor and spend enough rosary beads, which kind of function like souls, they're your currency, to buy the maps. Otherwise, you're just kind of going blind and you don't know where you are in relation to anything else. So, yeah, this game is just fantastic. I can't wait to finish up the podcast and play more of it. It's one of those games, like, you just can't wait to get back to it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I felt that way about Donkey Kong. It kind of encapsulated my time for a few weeks there.
Before we get off Silksong, I just want to mention we should talk about the launch of this game, and how it affected the internet. And now, temporarily, I think Steam, Xbox Store, PlayStation Network, and eShop all were giving errors and outages. And TJ Stream got delayed; he had to jump platforms to switch because eventually the eShop came back up. But I don't remember the last time, if ever, AAA or indie, any video game, the big four, every platform was just out, errors across the board. I thought that was pretty insane.
I think it comes down to one aspect of this, though. There were no pre-orders. So, you couldn't pre-purchase this game. So, every single platform had this flood of people hitting their purchase flow on these stores. Which, while we haven't seen this with games before, I'll remind people about the Switch 2 launch earlier this year, where even the pre-order launches, you saw all these stores collapsing, right? You saw Best Buy, GameStop, every retailer that had pre-orders was really collapsing. I will remind people that Steam has had this happen in recent years. It was the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck caused Steam to collapse under the weight of how many people were trying to buy it on Steam. And I think we had record concurrence for both Hollow Knight and Silksong last week. It was something like 500,000 people were playing Silksong concurrently on Thursday night on Steam. But yeah, Donovan, you're right. There's never been a game where Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam have all crashed simultaneously. And I do think the lack of pre-orders had something to do with that. Because it wasn't the servers don't have the game there. They did. Once you got through the purchase flow, your game downloaded, right? It wasn't that. It was more, you couldn't even get the services to accept your payment. And we've seen that with other things in the past. We have an iPhone announcement coming this week, right? So, we've seen that back in the day when people cared about iPhone more. We've seen it on the Apple Store, right? We've seen it with hardware more than software, I guess is my point. But this is shocking. And it kind of validates what we were saying in the past few episodes. They did not need us. They did not need a David Craddock review or a Donovan Erskine review of Silksong to determine if they had to buy this or not. They were buying it. This was I'm buying it. And then they priced it for perfection. $20 is for a game
to buy territory.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, for a game that's this anticipated, $20 was I'm buying this. I'm just not going to order DoorDash for 2 days and I'm going to buy this. I think that's not a crazy amount of money to a lot of gamers, especially people who have been highly anticipating this game. So yeah, it's another. I don't want to claim it as a victory for us because obviously we do work in games media and we do like to review games here, but it does highlight that some games don't need reviewers at all to sell. And if you build a community like they have, I don't think they need it, and they didn't. So, and the other thing, I saw a lot of people replying to our vertical video about that, or we were talking about it a few weeks ago, that like, if you were someone who was on the fence about Silksong, you could wait like a day or two and then just go on Steam and see the overwhelmingly positive reviews, right? Like, user reviews in a case like this, where it's not being review bombed or, you know, it's not a bunch of spammers, like, I think they're just as valuable as a Metacritic score. So it's going to be interesting to see where this does land on Metacritic when it does, when the reviews start to kind of trickle in.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's this misconception that games journalism is just game critics, is just reviewing games. And I feel like a lot of our colleagues probably got a hard lesson over the past few days, realizing that they weren't needed in this respect. It's why I feel like as a games journalist, you should be just a journalist. You should be able to do news. You should be able to do previews, interviews, long read, you know, special features, that sort of thing. Because that's all of that, including reviews, is journalism. But just because there's not, you know, some sites were just freaking out that they couldn't do a review on time. And like, if that's what you're hinging on, maybe expand your coverage base to do more. Yeah, there are plenty of stories that came out from Silksong besides not being able to review it early.
And there's like the evolution of games media, right? Like it's something that has changed over time. And I've kind of talked about how we're kind of going back to the old days of previews being more valuable than reviews. And also, opinion pieces that aren't necessarily reviews. Or like interesting things, highlighting cool things that you've seen. But also, it's a visual medium. Video games, it says it in the first word. It's a visual medium. And I think a lot of the old guard in games media and games journalism are writers first. They don't think about video content, or they don't think about conversational podcast kind of content first, right? They think in kind of old times, like this is what people want to read. And my God, do a lot of people not read anymore? It's something that we see, and it's not like me saying that there's no one out there reading. There still are people who want to read an article over hear a video. It's not like, hey, you have to stop doing this. It's more like give everyone an option for how they're going to consume the content. And I think this podcast has been good for that, where we're still reviewing games. You know, Donovan had his editorial Donkey Kong review out at embargo, and then we had a conversation about the game that also went live at embargo in this podcast. I think it's just about adapting to the changing times, and some of our competitors are not doing that, and they decided to yell at the clouds all weekend, and I thought that was a waste of time. But yeah, like I think something like Shack Maps highlights where the industry is going, right? Like if guides are being eaten up by ChatGPT and Grok and Claude and whatever else, Copilot, then what can a human do that AI can't do, right? Or what are the values? What value can you bring to the internet in 2025 that's different? I think that's the question that people should be asking instead of yelling about things. I also saw an interesting narrative. We kind of mentioned it last week because we were surprised at the price, at $20. I saw this narrative that like it's hurting all other indie devs, and I don't understand that. Like how a successful indie game selling at a good price is going to hurt everyone else. Like I'm not going to look at any indie game differently because Hollow Knight was priced, or Silksong's priced at $20. I'm like, that's just cool that they did that. Like it's not like they could have charged $40, right, David? Like they could have charged $40 for this. But like I think it's cool that they charged $20 for it, and I think that like led to more people being able to download the game on day one. Like nothing about that launch makes me think, oh, I'm definitely not going to buy XYZ indie unless it's $2. Like no. We want to talk about like the actual deflation in this industry. It's Game Pass. It's not a game selling. Like, this is good news for indies, that an indie game broke all the eShop and all the digital storefronts on day one. Like, that's good news for indies.
Also, do you remember when, I don't remember exactly what id called it. Do you remember when they released a Doom 3 rail shooter on iPhone for it was $10?
Rage.
No. It was actually Doom 3.
Oh.
But it was a rail shooter and it was $9.99. And that caused an uproar because people were used to paying 99 cents for mobile games at that time. Do you see any parallels between this and Silksong's pricing and how other indies are reacting?
Yeah, I remember there was also like a Monkey Ball game early in the eShop era that was like $9.99 and people got mad about that too. But now you see like full price like $70 games on the App Store. So yeah, I do think it's a little of that. But like, it's also, why are you mad that like the $20 price point is being like validated here? Like, right. I see a lot of indies go on sale on Steam for less than $10. You look at Balatro last year. What was that, like $3 or $5? Or sorry, something no, like that. It was Vampire Survivors was $3. I see the similarities to what you're talking about, but at the same time, like, I don't get why you have to compare your game to the most anticipated indie game of all time if you're some indie studio that hasn't shipped a game yet. Because you're in the part of having to build your own community that will support you for whatever price. And I get why people, like, maybe if you're releasing a game head-to-head with it, which we saw a lot of studios sidestep it. Go ahead, Dom.
That's what I was going to mention. I think that there might have been some saltiness that was drawn from that, because they announced the release date 2 weeks before it came out, and a lot of games got delayed. A lot of, when the Bennett Foddy delayed Baby Steps, he put out the video of like the character walking on like a statue of Hornet, being like, "We're getting out of the way," blah blah. And then people put out statements, and I'm not going to call any specific devs, and I'm not talking about Bennett Foddy, but some of them were a bit on the saltier side, where it's like, well, I guess we have no other choice. Our game's going to be pushed X amount of months because it's the only way we're going to survive, because this sucks for us, sort of thing. And I get it, there's like marketing, there's so much that's built into when you release a game and how you roll out trailers and partnerships, and it's not easy to just up and move that to October, November, December. And there is no great time to release a game, especially in the fall when we've got, now a Kirby game around the corner, a Pokemon around the corner, a Metroid that's, presumably around the corner. So I think there might have been a little bit of that like frustration of like, it kind of became a lot of people's problem with Silksong put a September 4th release date out, but that's how it goes.
There's just a lot of games releasing every year. There's more games coming out on Steam every year than the previous year. We're in this era now where it's just like, I would call it the era of abundance, not just in video games, but in entertainment options in general. It's harder than ever before to like have a successful movie, Donovan, especially like an art house film, right? Or like it's harder to succeed in music, right? Like, Kendrick Lamar dropping albums, just shadow dropping an album on a Friday. Was it like Black Friday or something when he dropped GNX? Like
somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, like and then how he was dropping all of his tracks in the spring of 2024. How that altered people's plans for releasing their albums. I think it's occasionally you're going to have like a very big property show up and it's going to disrupt the industry. But like, it's the state of all entertainment right now. And like, I understand how it's frustrating, but like, how can you look at the results for Team Cherry and be like, that was a bad idea? That was bad for the industry. I'm like, no, that was actually really good and great for the community that they had built over these years.
I still believe in a high tide raises all ships. I think that there are a lot of people who are going to play other Metroidvanias for the first time now that they've played Silksong, because eventually people will exhaust all the joy they can get out of that game, and they'll go find other things on the eShop or the Steam store or whatever, and check them out.
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, like not every indie game sells millions of units and turns into some superstar franchise. But like to your point, this is still a pretty small team that made this game. And I think this is going to open up a new generation of people who maybe didn't even play the first game because they were too young or whatever. They didn't have the money, whatever. They didn't even know about it. Maybe they didn't have a device to play it on. But like, it's been 8 years. So it's like, it's opening people's eyes that like, and I think Shacknews last year, we made history here at our website where an indie game won Game of the Year, right? Like, going up against AAA titles, we had an indie game that took home Game of the Year last year. It's a good thing in the long run.
Yeah. I think so too. I'm excited to see what Team Cherry does next. Not even so much as like what their next video game is. Obviously, I'm excited for that, but I just curious how they like parlay the success. I guess they all probably go on like a 5-month vacation. That's what I would do. But yeah. What a story for that team.
Yeah. I don't know. They already had money hats, so like I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you just get another money hat, or do you put like a feather in your current money hat? How does this work? Cause they already had rap video money. So
yeah.
Now what?
But now it's like now they've got like crazy rap video money though. Now they're like, you know, like after Among Us blew up during the pandemic and like Innersloth had so much money that they didn't just staff up, they started like publishing other people's games.
Yeah.
Like, they have like that kind of money now.
Yeah.
They could just do anything, you know.
Yeah. And that does seem like they seem like the kind of studio that will do something cool with this. They're not taking this moment for granted, I don't think. And that's exciting to see. But back to the game itself, David, like it is a labor of love. And it is like beautifully crafted. And the audio and the music, everything about that game is just, it's a vibe. Like you are in a place. And I think that's like super important when making a game. Like you were talking about earlier, like you can't wait to get back into it. Like,
yeah,
it's a place that you're going to. It is an escape from reality in a way that like it's that immersive. I think that's a magical thing that they've been able to do twice now.
Yeah, and they have all these different biomes. Amy actually, it's funny because like she loves these types of games as well. And we both, a lot of people might find them stressful. You know, challenging games can be stressful. My hands were shaking during one boss fight yesterday, and it took like 10 minutes of just solid fighting, but I did it. But she finds them cozy. She finds Hollow Knight and Silksong cozy because of the music and the art. And it's an overwhelmingly hostile world that we love to spend time in, and that's a special thing.
Yeah, it is that place. It's a place you go to, and it feels like you're actually going somewhere. Like it's I think that's a magical thing, and that's what video games can do. They provide escape at times for people, and
absolutely,
this is one of those moments. And man, like you know, we've seen these in recent history, these like right place, right time kind of games. And it feels like Silksong came at the perfect time for everyone. So
you can't replicate it, man. It happens every so often. We get a release like that where it's just like the stars aligned, and this could have been more perfect for the people making it. Yeah,
but it's cool. Like, you know, we have an award here at Shacknews. We call it the Do It for Shacknews Award, and like this is one of those moments where you're like, hey, they did it.
Yeah,
you know, like it's there's no reason to be salty about this.
Yeah, it's just, and not just them doing it, but them doing it and then right before a release coming out and being like, we just want to make the game we love, right? Like there was no horror story of like this guy quit or the heads of the studio, you know, tore each other apart over the direction, or these people, you know, are all burnt out.
Crunch or
changing the engine repeatedly, like doing them forever. But like, you know, there's, you know, there are horror stories from these like wonderkin devs, right? And David, you broke down id Software, their rise and fall really well in Rocket Jump, and like not all studios go well when they have a smash hit. Like some of them tear each other to shreds, and this is not a case like that. So it is like a heartwarming story, and I just think it's if you look at the long arc of games history, this is a very unique moment, and it should be celebrated. Not like the think pieces that were coming out this weekend about it were so weird. I was just like, you guys are missing the plot here.
Yeah.
But you know, it's to each their own. We decided to cover the game as we do it here at Shacknews, and
TJ Denzer,
he's reviewing it.
Is reviewing it.
Yeah, we're gonna give this game a score, and we're gonna review it, and we'll have TJ on to talk about it probably because he's playing it on stream. He's playing it on Switch too. For review, he's playing it on Steam. So he's actually playing through it twice. So if you want to watch it on stream, check out our VODs channel. And yeah, also just head over to Shacknews Twitch. Probably on Friday. I don't know when he's going to play it next time. Well, I look forward to hearing more about this, David, because it sounds like you're going to have more to say in the upcoming weeks.
This is going to be my Donkey Kong, Asif. Just like you've come on every week and talked about your progress, this is probably going to be that for me. I'll be back next week to talk about what I've been doing in the game. Because that's the thing. It took them 8 years to make this. I'm not trying to rush through it. I've been contributing to guides and stuff, but I'm also like, our freelancers and Sam are on that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to take my time and enjoy it.
You know, like, I've come in there at times and just been like, hey, I heard this on the internet, like, maybe we should do something there, and they're like, well, we're already on it, like, we have 5 people, like, we have like 5 people working on this right now from an editorial standpoint, so and like, actually more, if you look at who's working on video and stuff between Greg and me, but so yeah, there's a ton of content already on our YouTube channel and on the website and also on Shack Maps, so yeah, we are taking this game, we're treating it like, you know, one of the biggest game releases of the year, which it is. And there's no time to be salty about that. I do have something to be salty about.
Uh-oh.
Donovan, on Friday, you sent me an eShop code. You're like, here you go, buddy. And I'm like, oh, goody. It's NBA 2K26.
Yes.
I don't like this. Now, I'll say this. I've had to ask Donovan a lot about this. Like, I don't think I purchased an NBA 2K game since LeBron left Cleveland again. So, I think that's 2018.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I would argue is LeBron's best career, like, year. Like, he did not miss a game. If you remember that playoff run, Donovan, he was hitting game winners, you know, at the buzzer over the he ripped the heart
where the supporting cast failed him spectacularly.
Yes,
on the grand stage,
yeah, against the Warriors for sure. But like I feel like taking the 2018 team to the finals was as much of an achievement as when he took the 2007 donkey of a team to the finals against the Spurs, and then they got swept by the Spurs. But like that, you know, that game 5 against the Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals was this like career-defining moment for LeBron in 07. Yeah. But like 18 was really cool. I had that game because I was like, you know, this is a special year for LeBron and the Cavs. Even though we had won the championship a few years before, I still think that was his best year ever. So yeah, I haven't bought this game in a long time. And the main reason I haven't bought this, I hate the monetization of this game. And it would not be fair for me to shit all over Madden a few weeks ago and call it egregiously terrible monetization and not talk about the onboarding for this game. You cannot get to the main menu without giving 2K your email address.
Yeah, you gotta make a 2K account.
You don't have to even create a password. You have to do that after the fact. They just want your email and you agree to these TOS, and then they throw you in to the freaking My Player, like, instantly. This is like if Madden forced you into Madden Ultimate Team. This is how bad it is, David. It's like, you don't even get to go to the Play Now screen. It's like, nope, we're shoving you right into our monetization thing, which is like, they have this VC, it's virtual currency, right? And you they have created a game where you can create a player, which I love, right? I love create a player, but they have time gates that are so horrible in this game that it forces people to invest money into their character every year. And none of that progress carries over to the next year. So if you buy this game every year, you end up spending hundreds of dollars in some cases. I remember my nephew, when he was really into this, like probably 5 years ago, he would ask us for VC for his birthday because he wanted to upgrade his player because he didn't have the time to grind to do it. Like no one does, Donovan. I think the experience economy in that mode, My Player, is awful. So for them to shove it in your face, where it's like, here, you have to play My Player instantly, I was like, fuck this game already. And then it's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander talking to you on the court, Donovan. I couldn't could you skip that? I don't think you can.
I don't think you can. You might be able to quit. Like once the game starts.
Once the game starts.
Able to pause and quit. I think,
yeah.
maybe.
Once the game starts, but that's like 10 minutes. From like entering your email address, which you have to type on a freaking screen, which I still hate. How is it 2025 and these game companies still don't have a good way to type on a screen? Like, what are we doing?
All the streaming services figured that out a few years ago. Where like now, this is so off topic, but if you're like trying to sign into like HBO Max or Disney Plus or whatever, they all throw up a QR code. And it's like scan it on your phone and log in on your phone. Or if you're on the same Wi-Fi, just it pops right up to your phone. Games need to figure that out. Anytime I put my email in a video game,
and it's this, and I'm not. This is not just a Switch 2 thing. This is a PlayStation problem. This is an Xbox problem. It's not a Steam problem, obviously, because you have a keyboard. But like. Right. How are we still doing this? How am I still navigating a QWERTY keyboard on a screen with an analog joystick? And yeah, this is a little bit of a tangent, but like, that's why it took me 10 minutes to get to the stupid game. And then it's like, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and this MP. They call you MP in this, David. And this is how long it's been for me. Like, Don was like, yeah, they've been doing that for years. I'm like, I didn't know. You know what MP stands for? It's my player. They're like, hey, MP. Oh, MP with the layup. And I'm like, okay. So you have to sit there and watch Shea Gilgeous-Alexander draft this all-star team of Michael Jordan and, like, who else was on his team? It was ridiculous.
It's like Allen Iverson. Does he take Shaq, maybe? He might take Shaq, I think. But he's giving you his like all-time lineup. It's like the lunch table conversation where it's like, which is your starting five all-time, and he's like, it's me, Michael Jordan. He names all the players. And then he's like, what about you? And you straight up get like a Mortal Kombat character select screen where it's like, do what you taking like Kobe Bryant, you could take Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Giannis and Kevin Durant. You can,
So I took
your lineup.
I begrudgingly took LeBron James because they're like, oh, it's their peak. So what was peak LeBron James? 2012 Miami. And I was like, bleh, gag me with a spoon. This is disgusting to me. I was like, I didn't even pass him the ball. But like, I'm a fan of his, but I hate the Heat. I hate that he went to the Heat. I hate the Heat. I'll always hate the Heat. So it sucked that I had to pick him on the Heat. Also, KD, like, I picked Kevin Durant. It's Oklahoma City Thunder Durant. And I'm like, that's peak Durant? Like, the way that they defined peak for these players, I did not like. But yeah, they force you to draft this team, and then they force you into the game. It's probably 12 to 15 minutes from when I started the game to when I actually started playing a game, and then it's a game I don't even want to play. Why am I D'ing up Michael Jordan? Like, I don't want to be D'ing up Michael Jordan ever. Like, so, that whole thing sucked. Like,
it's rough.
It's worse. Look, it's worse than Madden. That onboarding is worse than Madden, and I hate Madden. I hate the onboarding in Madden.
First impressions are important, and look, in theory, it's kind of like an interesting throwback to what sports games used to do a lot, especially in the 2010s. Madden used to do this thing where, like, when you would start the new Madden for the first time, they would put you into, like, it'd be a cutscene, and it'd be like, Tom Brady's down by 4 points.
Yeah.
There's 2 minutes left. He's at, like, the 20-yard line. And you would, like, drop in, and you'd be playing as the Patriots against whatever NFC team they beat in the Super Bowl that year. And you had to do the game-winning drive as Tom Brady. And that would be your introduction. I used to always hate it because I'm a Ravens fan. I don't like playing as fucking Tom Brady. But it's like, they're playing up the sports thing, the storyline of it. And those can be fun, but, like, wherever you put people into a game and you make them do a thing before they can choose how they want to play it, it's never going to go.
And then, like, you have to pick a creative player, but then that's not your creative player when you start up my player. It's just like a temporary...
Yeah, they give you, like, a generic dude to play as.
Yeah. I'm like...
Which I thought was weird.
I was like, what is this? It's like, it's not even the real mode. But it's like shoving you into it.
I thought that I like forgot to customize my character or something. So whoever.
I was like, what is this? It's like, here's these prefab guys you can be, and they all have the same voice, and the voice is terrible. I hate the voice.
So bad. So bad.
Yeah, so it was funny because my brother's sitting there watching it, and like we finally get to the menu after I played the stupid game. It's like 4 minutes or something, or you have to play against this all-star team.
Fourth quarter of a game,
So, like, we finally get to the main menu, and my brother's like, so the payoff is that you get to hear House of Pains jump around? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's what we get here. And I turned it off. I instantly turned the game off. After I got through the whole intro, I was like, I'm good. I don't even want to play this right now. So I played it today, because I wanted to talk about the gameplay. I can't tell, Donovan. I'm going to need you to play it because you're playing it on Xbox right now, and you'll be able to give it like a true comparison to Switch 2. Having, 7 years, 8 years removed from this franchise, I did play it on Switch 1, and it was terrible on Switch 1. It was like one of the worst games on Switch 1 for a while. Graphics were terrible, frame rate was terrible, the timing, which is hugely important in this game, was terrible. So relative to that, it's much better. But like it didn't seem bad. I hate some of the design choices they've made with like the layup timer. Why? Why do we have to have a greenlit layup timer now?
They've been timing lips for a while. Yeah, that's
that's what's funny, Dom. And like I'm like a caveman lawyer coming to this. I'm like I don't understand these things. And Dom's like, it's been in the game for 5 years, Asif. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm a caveman. I don't know any of these things. So like, Donovan's been going through this because his friend group likes to abuse him by making him play Madden and 2K every year.
Fans, yeah. I will say the layup timer is an interesting thing because it's been around for a few years, but you can turn it off. But the trade-off is when you turn off the layup timer, it just becomes a thing where like the player ratings just decide what happens. So at that point, you're just surrendering yourself to whatever animation you get, which a lot of the consistent players don't want, right? Because that's how you like go into the paint. You get like the weird throw the ball up because I'm flailing for a foul and stuff. You kind of the player's more in control when you can time it. That's how you pull off the layups you shouldn't make. Is when you time it. So it's a give and take situation. I think I do want to kind of zoom out a little bit and just talk about the idea of 2K on Switch, because there's an interesting through line here, right? Where 2K was one of the original partners for the Switch 1, right? They were in that OG iconic Switch commercial where the people are on the rooftop on the picnic table and
they were playing a pickup game, right. And then after the pickup game, they threw it in they threw it in tabletop mode, and they all got their Joy-Cons,
and they're playing 2K. I believe that was 2K18 because it was 2017. Yeah. They named the games a year in advance. Yeah, and I remember that to me in 2017 seeing that commercial. That was one of my like whoa moments, like that in Skyrim, because this was a pre-Steam Deck world. This was a pre-Switch world. Technically, you couldn't play 2K outside of a console.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it was on Steam properly at that point.
No,
so that was like oh shit.
I know
obviously it was the worst way to play it, but like it was a very cool thing. I bought it on Switch Day because I was like, I gotta see this. So it is cool that 7 years later, 2K26 launches on there, and it is a bit better optimized thanks to Switch 2 improved hardware and whatnot. But yeah, we talked about this with Madden too, right? Where like Madden wasn't on the Switch, you completely missed it, but it was on the Wii, and I don't know if it was on the Wii U.
No,
but
it was not on the Wii U.
Yeah, just the concept of all these games coming back and like kind of making their reintroduction on the Switch 2.
But also like coming out at the same time. Like, simultaneously shipping these games, I think, is a big deal for Nintendo. That, like, their fans now aren't being left out. And then, like, especially with a sports game, if a game comes out months later, like, the season's already started, and people have already made their purchasing decisions, so your friend group's on Xbox, or your friend group is on PlayStation already, and they advertise crossplay, David, but it's not working yet. Which sucks. But outside of my general hatred of the game, it ran fine. Like I didn't see anything wrong with how it ran. The presentation was good
on Switch 2.
It looks good. It looks good. Like it doesn't. I need to play it on I need to at least see it on another system before I can like truly judge it. But like it feels kind of like Tony Hawk's 3+4 and WWE 2K, David, where it's not bad. Like it's good, and obviously it's going to offer handheld play, which the other consoles don't. I know there's a PlayStation Portal, but like, you come on. This is actually like a dedicated handheld.
You're running it natively on the Switch too,
and it runs well. So like, that's the one thing where like, I didn't feel like the input lag or anything like that would ruin this game. Like I wouldn't play it, but like. It is just me not being used to playing with certain characters because, Dom, like each guy has a different shot animation and timing. So
different everything, the way they dribble, the way they hold the ball, of everything,
Yeah, so
even
like
passing, I think now.
I'm sitting there learning how to shoot as Donovan Mitchell, and like I will say, I played like a full game and I got better each quarter. So like I kind of got the hang of it by the end of it. I told Don, I'm like, if before we start recording, I'm like, if we did this and like we stream this, you're gonna destroy me. Like I have no shot. Like in Madden, like I have a shot against you. In NCAA, I might have a shot against you. This you will destroy me. Because, like, I am so far behind the updates. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a thing now? And I'm, like, trying to do, like, I don't know if you remember, like, the right analog used to be, like, a pro-motion dribble thing. Like, did they get rid of that?
You can still dribble. You still do like dribble moves with the right stick. You have to be very careful and precise with your right stick because the right stick does like everything in that game.
Yeah.
You can shoot with it. They have a thing called rhythm shooting that you can do with it. They have go-to shots now, where I believe if you hold like it'd be right trigger on like an Xbox controller and then the same button wherever else. But like you do that in the right stick, you can do what they call a go-to dribble move, or a go-to shot, which is where like. If LeBron's got like his signature size up he does where he like looks down at the ball and does the back step and then shoots. He'll do that, right? Or like this year they added go-to post moves. So like Jokic, when he does like the fake and then the fake and then he throws the fake arm up and then he shoots. Like you can do that now. So there are a lot of different like signature size ups and moves they've tied to that stick.
That's cool.
It is tough. It's very easy to accidentally shoot or fuck up your timing with the right stick because it does do a lot. It's like Skate almost.
Yeah.
Like every input goes back to that button.
Yeah. I felt it was confusing, but like I said, these are complaints as just someone who hasn't been playing the game in a while. And I honestly think a lot of Switch 2 players probably haven't been buying this game for several years, so these are valid concerns.
Been neglected the last few years.
These are valid concerns, but yeah, I don't know. Will I play it again? Maybe, but I don't know. Yeah. It's weird, man, because I used to be super into sports games, and
they make it hard, man. They make it hard to still be into them.
It's an abusive relationship at this point. Yeah, like I don't feel good when I play these games. No. Like the onboarding was offensive in this. Like I was just like, screw this game. Like I get it. You have to have an account and like all this stuff, but like a good game. Like this is just a bigger point in my opinion. A good video game lets you get to the accessibility menu the minute you start it. And you can't do that here. And I think that's a huge miss from a lot of studios still. Like, this is something where I credit Ubisoft. They have made that a best practice in their games. When you start up a Ubisoft game, you can jump into the accessibility menu. And it has voiceover by default, right? So, like, for visually impaired players, you can go straight to the accessibility menu and it'll read you the menu. How is that not a standard in gaming right now? And this is something Nintendo's pretty bad at too. But yeah, like I wish that there was some sort of unified best practice for accessibility settings in these menus. But when I see how like their point of emphasis, which is like shoving you into my player so we can get your damn money, I'm like, yeah, I don't like this. So that I told you, like, that was so off-putting that I put the game down and I was like, I'm not going to play this till tomorrow. Like, I'm good. I knew I had to play it before I came on here to talk about it. But, like, yeah, it's fine. And, like, I don't know. I haven't really felt strongly about a 2K game, an NBA 2K. I keep saying 2K because I know WWE is now relevant again. Yeah. Like, they actually made a good one. But NBA 2K, like, it's interesting how you have both Madden on one side, that's the monopoly for NFL games, and then you have NBA 2K, which is the monopoly on basketball games. And I hate that we have both of these right now. Competition is good, and I think some of these things would be less terrible if they actually had to face competition. And I know it's probably, I don't know, EA announced that they're not shipping a basketball game. They were going to do a college basketball game, and then 2K announced that they're adding college basketball to this. I do want to shout out, like, the WNBA integration is cool in this game. Like, you can actually play as WNBA players. You can play, like, intergender squads and stuff. Like, there's some cool stuff you can do in this game that's unique to this year. So, like, that's cool. And I guess someone who's watched the WNBA for years, like, I think it's cool to see that. Especially if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, she's out for the year, so that's the only way you're going to see her playing for a while. But yeah, it's the thing that I really liked about sports games, though, and then we can move on. Like, there was like a as a Cleveland fan, Dave, you know this. Like, we suck at most sports most of the time, and horrible things happen to our teams all the time. So, like, sports games, especially like franchise mode or career mode or create a player modes, it offered an escape for sports fans to like go to this place where your team doesn't suck and where you can create a player, right? And they're good. Like when LeBron left the first time, I created a small forward who got drafted to the Utah Jazz for some reason, but I demanded a trade to Cleveland, which people are like, why the hell do you want to go to Cleveland? But yeah, I was a small forward for the Utah Jazz for like 3 years, demanded a trade, ended up replacing LeBron. And that was like 2K, I want to say it was like 2K13 or something that I did that with. But yeah, that is gone because of these monetization practices and stuff. Like, I think it's really whack that there were better create a franchise, create a player modes 12 years ago than there are now. I think that's really lame, and it's directly related to the monetization efforts of these companies. So I just, yeah, anyway.
I will say that this stuff is, I think, starting to creep into WWE, which has me a little nervous. Like this year, for the first time, they introduced this mode called the Island, where it's like, you know, a 3D world that's modeled after the Bloodline, and it's gorgeous. It's really fun to explore, but you also have to grind for VC in it, and they call it VC. So I worry that stuff is going to creep in more. Now, I will say that when you start the game, you have to go through like 3 TOSs, and it's the ones where like you can just open the screen and then close it. You don't have to scroll down. And then you have the option to go to the Performance Center for tutorials, but if you say no, it just takes you to the main menu. I'm glad that this isn't like what you've experienced with NBA 2K here. Look, I worry that it'll creep in.
I think the TOS stuff, that makes sense. Like, I get that. Yeah. That's the cover your ass stuff that they have to do legally. That's not what I'm complaining about. It's that they shove you into something. And with Madden, it's like MUT is front and center in the menu. Like, it's the first thing you can select. And I know there's a group of people who actually like MUT, but like, I don't. So like, I just want play now. Like, I just want to go to play now. That's like my go-to. Obviously, I liked franchise mode until they ruined it and everything. But yeah, David, to your point, like, it's not as bad in WWE 2K, because I have played that too, and it's not as bad there. I would have pointed it out, but like, no, it's, I do fear what you're saying though, that creep, because it's the same company making this, and they're printing money over at NBA 2K. Like, if this wasn't working, they wouldn't be doing it. So like, I get why that it's a point of emphasis, but as someone who enjoys the old timey sports games, I hate this stuff, and it's just. Thanks for the code, 2K, but ugh. Barf. So anyway, before we move on to, I want to talk about Donkey Kong Bonanza here, but I don't know, Kirby's having a summer. I don't know if you guys know this. This is Kirby summer. This is the summer of Kirby.
Hot Kirby summer.
You got Kirby Air Riders, which is coming out in, what was it, November?
It's going to be a Kirby fall, too, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the year of Kirby at this point. But also, there's like a train line in Osaka, Japan now that's like Kirby branded. And to celebrate the launch of it, they had like a Kirby conductor walking around Japan. Like, people were taking photos with him. It was adorable. So I just wanted to shout out Kirby continuing to kick ass in Japan. There's a Kirby cafe in Tokyo, and now there's a train line and like a metro rail that's like Kirby themed. I saw that all over Twitter this weekend, because Japanese people still use Twitter. They haven't heard of Blue Sky yet. But yeah, it was, and actually Grok is doing a decent job translating Japanese tweets these days, so like you can actually read what they're saying in English pretty quickly.
Yeah, it does.
But yeah, a lot of Kirby pictures and videos on social this weekend. It just made me jealous, because like, I want to go to Osaka, and I want to ride on the Kirby train. I don't even care where it goes.
Man. I feel like the meme of like Squidward looking out of the window at SpongeBob and Patrick running around having fun. Every time I see like a cool video game thing in Japan, like the algorithm will always feed me. I didn't see the Kirby train, but I'll always see like the Dragon Quest cafe. It'll be somebody eating like a slime ice cream, and I'm like,
there's a
that seems
whole
nice.
there's a whole convenience store in the electric city of Akihabara. It's just Dragon Quest themed. Like you walk in, the noise that when you open the doors from Dragon Quest, like the nerd culture in Japan is next level, man. Like it is. There's a whole city for you.
Cool stuff.
There's like a whole city for game nerds, and it is heaven. It is heaven for a technology or a game nerd. And yeah, there's just arcade cabinets strewn throughout the whole country. Like, I can't remember the last time I saw an arcade cabinet in Canton, David. Like, I don't know. I don't even know where one would be, which is sad. I guess we have some arcade one-up stuff at the office that we could build.
We do. That's true.
I think it's NBA Jam. I think it's the one. Speaking of basketball.
Now that's an NBA game I will play.
Yes. Yes. I will. I watched this. I fall into the weirdest YouTube rabbit holes. I saw this video about why Michael Jordan was not in Jam, and how there was there's like a version out there in emulator land where you can play as Michael Jordan in Jam. But yeah, it's just such a sad thing that you have to play as, I think it's Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant Donovan.
Wow.
Instead of Pippen and Jordan. Or like, I don't know, John Paxson and Jordan. Like there could have been, what could have been?
Cavs still have Mark Price though. That's
they
my
do.
guy.
Price and Doherty or Price and Nance, I believe. But yeah, Mark Price, man. Underrated player. People don't give him enough respect. Also a Christian rapper, oddly enough. Anyway. Spoiler time. I want to make this abundantly clear to our listeners. If you have not completed Donkey Kong Bonanza, other than David, he doesn't care. If you have not completed Donkey Kong Bonanza, stop the podcast right now. If you're worried about spoilers for Donkey Kong Bonanza, stop the podcast right now. Leave. Go play Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then come back and start this right where you left off. Because you're going to want to hear this conversation. I beat it. I rolled credits.
Yeah.
Twice.
I was going to say the real credits.
I rolled the real credits. Yeah. Which, okay. So, I got to the Forbidden Lair. Last episode, I think I was sitting at the Forbidden Lair. Before I talk about this ending, I want to say a few things. The set pieces in this game are the most vast and beautiful ones we've ever seen in a Nintendo game. Just striking.
Awesome. Yeah.
Strikingly beautiful games with a crazy attention to detail, like in the ice cream level with the zebras, Dom, and like in the store, there's little like ice cream cones sitting on a shelf, right? That you can obviously destroy very easily. But like there are the ostrich level. There's like everything is shaped like an ostrich in that level. Like every little aspect of the level has this like ostrich vibe. So like the themes of the design, like the design themes of these different layers is masterful, and it has that same attention to detail that I love in the Mario games. Right? Like, great. So I got all the Bonanzas. I have all those. I get to the Forbidden Lair, and I see, I finally beat Void Kong, right? I finally go through the, umpteenth battle with Void Kong. I can't remember how many fucking times I had to fight that asshole.
Like 2 or 3, yeah.
But I finally beat him, and David, this is like the most charming moment in the game. Once again, spoilers all over the place here. It's the K. Rool reveal. Like, you're like, oh, this guy, like, Void Kong appears, and like it's after you beat Void Kong again, like Void Kong's about to do something stupid again, and just BAM! Gets punched in the face and like flies off the level, and it's K. Rool. And I'm like, oh, okay, I like this. I like this quite a bit. The rest of the game is you basically either chasing K. Rool or navigating through like K. Rool's hideout, which was down at the depths of the. He was basically trapped underneath the Vanadium root by the Void people.
Core. Yeah, he was stuck in the core the whole time.
Yeah, so. Him and his gang of Kremlings, David. So like all these enemies that were just like gold or, covered in mud or whatever they were in the first, I don't know, 90% of the game, suddenly they're all just Kremlings. Like, you're fighting Kremlings all of a sudden. And it's great. Like, that is great fan service to people who love the Donkey Kong Country franchise, or to people who even like DK64. So that's cool. There's like this giant gold K. Rool statue that you see, like when you get down to the first part of the layer. So I destroyed it like it was a statue of Saddam Hussein, and I collected all the gold. But so I have heard from so many people that the last hour of Donkey Kong Bonanza is some of the best platforming in Nintendo history. It's not. At all. Like, what are these people smoking? Donald, what were you talking about?
I did not say the last hour was the best.
No, I know you didn't.
I just think it's the best. I think it's the best just video game stuff in a long time. It's just great. It's the best part of that game. It's the best part of most recent Nintendo games. I just think the finale of that game is phenomenal. Just the action of it all, I think, is great.
I think this trend on social media around the launch of Bonanza and like all the reviewers saying this, it's not you. You didn't say this, but it was a narrative that this was the best platforming sequence in the history of Nintendo. And it's the best ending in the history of a Nintendo game. Have you seen the ending of Tears of the Kingdom?
I haven't. No, I'm still working my way through the Switch 2.
David, you have.
I have. Yeah.
The end of Tears of the Kingdom is materially better than the end of Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I'll get into why I feel that way. But man, I'm being told, like, okay, this is going to build up to this amazing platforming moment. It didn't. It built up to a very cool action-adventure moment, right? Like, similar to the ending of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, in my opinion, which is, like, very cinematic and cool. Like, once again, spoilers out the ass here. So, you get through a series of challenges in the layers, right, Don? You're taking these mine carts, and you keep going down and down and down, and strikingly beautiful moments where you're seeing the Banandium root and it's glowing gold all around you. Like, it's visually very impressive. Like, I'll give him that. Like, it was. I'll get to the end. So, you're just progressing, and it's like, okay, you're gonna have to use one of your bonanzas here, right? And you're gonna have to use a different one here, right? And here's another one, and like, it's just everything you've already done in like a gauntlet format thrown at you. It's like, here's this enemy again, here's this enemy again. It wasn't anything that I felt was new. It was just a gauntlet of everything I've already done. And I was underwhelmed by that. It didn't actually challenge me at all. I just kind of went right through it. And then you get to the first K. Rool battle. It was good. Like, that wasn't bad. I didn't have any problem with it. But like at the end of it, Don, and you're like, I was like, is that it? Thankfully, it wasn't. Because I love
the fake out there. I thought that was so fun.
So you get it rolls credits, David, and it's like it's credits.
Donkey Kong Country did that. If you remember, Donkey Kong Country 1 did that too.
It did. That's why I'm like, okay, fan service out the ass here. Like, I really did like that because it's like credits with a K, and all the producers are all K.
Green. Like, it's like Donkey Kong Bonanza's all in green.
Yeah. And then it says the end, and then a question mark appears, and then K. Rool's eye opens up, and like it gets you back into the game. So you finally get the Banandium root. Pauline makes her wish to go back to the surface.
Yep.
This is a cool scene. And it's, without spoiling Tears of the Kingdom, it really reminded me of the end of Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it really did. Like, the ascension from the depths, the ascension from the Banandium root, very similar. But here's what's different. So, you're on this platform, right, Donovan? It's like the platform of bananas and gold, right? And this is now the second phase of the K. Rool boss battle, David. I guess you could say there are 3 phases. So the second fight, you're ascending, and K. Rool's trying to kill you and get the Banandium root, so that to stop you from getting to the surface, right? So it's this epic moment. It's visually impressive. All sorts of cool stuff's going on. And that's when the frame rate really started to chug, Donovan. What the fuck?
Yep. Yeah.
What the fuck?
The slowdown in that last battle is like insane. And I talked about it in my review.
I know.
Spoilers.
No.
And I was like, there are parts of that game where I'm like, wow, this is 1 month that like the switch to not a launch title, but like Raptor came out. It's not good. Yeah.
What
it chugs.
The fuck? This is the best platformer in the history of fucking Nintendo? Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck anyone who said that. You're full of shit. You don't know shit about video games. If you think that's the best, can you imagine the fucking last segment of Super Mario World, David, where frames are dropping and it fucks up your movement? The fucking pixel perfect movement of a Mario game is fucked up by fucking frame rate drops? How much would you hate that final battle with fucking the fucking clown car, which you already hate? But like, can you imagine a fucking Mario 64 battle with Bowser where you're spinning him around and the frame rate drops to fucking 10 frames per second on an N64 at this ultimate moment for this fucking launch title game? Imagine how many people would shit on such a thing. And in here, we're giving this a fucking 10? People are giving this game a 10. Insane. But I digress. Because this isn't even the end of the game. This isn't even the part that pissed me off, Donovan. This is just the ascension, which you've pointed out. Gold, elephant, all these different things hurt the frame rate, for sure. But when it affects the platforming, you have to be out of your fucking mind to say that this is the best Nintendo end sequence or best Nintendo platformer of all time. It's not even in the top 10. It's not. Like, people need to fucking go play some good video games. Holy shit. Anyway, so the reveal. I want to talk about this reveal. You finally get to the top. You beat the second phase of the K. Rool battle. You get to the top. You get to the surface, right? Yeah. It's this beautiful reveal, David. It's New Donk City.
Oh wow!
I love this part.
Okay. Pauline's like, I'm home. Like she got home. It's this beautiful moment. Mm-hmm. I loved it. I fucking loved that reveal. So like, obviously, I'm feeling torn here because like, I hated getting there. But getting that, once I got there, I was like, my God, this was a beautiful moment in gaming's history, for sure. Because now, it's a fact. Donkey Kong and Mario are in the same universe again, right? Like, yes, we've seen it in Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Yes, we've seen it in Mario Kart, whatever. What unfolds is a... You know the end of Ocarina of Time, David, right? Like, where the castle is crumbling and you have to get out.
Yeah.
It's almost the inverse, where is it acid or lava or gold? I don't know what it is. Yeah, he's flooding the city with some liquid, David, and you have to go up. K. Rool is at City Hall, at the top of City Hall. So it's an ascension. You have to go up, and there's, once again, a series of platform challenges. And this is where it really does use every single Bananza. You know, there's a moment, like each Bananza is going to be used to solve each individual challenge you get here, right? And I'll be honest with you, I didn't die once. Like, it just wasn't hard for me. Like, I don't know if I'm just the greatest platformer player on earth. I don't think I am. But, like, it was just not that hard. And I get to the part, you get to this part where it's, like, right before the final boss battle. You're atop the city. You're looking at City Hall. You have to use the Zebra Bonanza to get there. And there's a little stuff shop there. So when you die, that's where you spawn. So I want to talk about this final battle. Because it pissed me off more than the Ascension.
Yeah, and the boxing ring. The final.
The final fight. I guess K. Rool, like, consumes or wishes... I don't know what he does. He, like, merges with the Banandium root. And he becomes, like, almost like one of the Elder Kong-looking dudes. But he's bad.
I forget the name they give him. It's
King
like
of Rot.
Oh, yeah, it's like a Dark Souls boss. It's
Yeah.
like King K. Rool, comma, King of Rot. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, it's like some Elden Ring shit.
Yeah. So he's like Super Saiyan K. Rool, right?
Yeah.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. He has his gun, David, and that's like a large part of it. His shotgun, right? And he's shooting bullets at you. So this is where I fucking lost my mind.
Yep.
The amount of mud, right? When he shoots a bullet at you, it's like one bullet, and behind it, it leaves this trail of mud as a texture, right? And the mud, it hurts you, right, Donovan? Like if you land on it.
It does if you touch it.
Yeah, it'll hurt you. So, fine, right? Not the end of the world. He shoots 3 bullets at you. You have to dodge the mud. And then he fires it up in the air, and these arms start coming at you. That's when the slowdown began. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yes. It was like, look, I'm not a frame rate snob. I'm really not. Like, if a game's 30 frames, and it stays at 30 frames, I'll play it. But this was like, it must have been dropping below 20. And
it's in the teens during those points, for sure.
In 2025, on a launch title for your brand new high-tech system, at the ultimate battle, you have frame rates dropping below 20. And that's not even the part that pissed me off, Donovan. Because you know what? Fine. Suck some stuff up with the elephant, throw gold at the thing, it turns into gold, whatever. I can get past that.
Explosive, yeah.
The next part is when he starts firing those bombs up in the air and they land. And as they explode, David, they start spreading mud everywhere. It is horrible. Like, the mud teleports. So it's like 1 second it's over there. The next second it's moved 50%. Like, and as someone who's trying to dodge the mud, it becomes very hard. Because it's everywhere. Within 10 seconds, Diamond, from when he fires those, it's everywhere. And you have to carve out an area where you throw gold at the mud so it's a platform that you can stand on, right? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, this is the ultimate boss battle on a brand new system. And I'm sitting here looking at 15 frames per second, and it's affecting my gameplay. I am not able to dodge things properly because the fucking mud is teleporting underneath me. Like 1 second it's there, or 1 second it's not there, and its coast is clear, so I hit the input to jump there. By the time I land, it teleports underneath me. And I'm like, this is not the best platformer game. Like, shut the fuck up. Anyone who says this is the best platformer game is out of their mind. And this is the take that I wanted to say for you, David. And people know, I am a Nintendo shareholder. I owned the stock for a really long time. I held it through the 3DS and the Wii U era when things were really dark for them. And I held it through the Switch era where, they came back. I was like, should I sell my Nintendo stock?
When you played this?
Yeah. That boss battle made me want to sell my stock.
Wow.
I'm like, should I sell my stock? Like, is this Nintendo? This is just good enough? Because, is this really good enough? And, like, I talked about it before, where I feel like there's a push and pull at Nintendo between the software developers and the hardware developers, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a perfect moment for that, where it's like, the software devs, remember, they put out that press release before the review embargo, Donovan, where it's like, yes, we know there's frame rate dropped. It's by design. Like, we just felt like it was important to leave this in. I'm like, this?
I pulled the quote up while you were talking, because I was going to bring this up as well. This is from Kazuya Takahashi, who said, "We're aware that the performance may drop slightly at these times. However, as you say, overall the game is smooth, and at points where large-scale challenges or changes occur, we prioritized fun and playability."
That's bullshit, because the playability falls. Like, I'm telling you, it's harder. The boss battles are made harder, not because of the difficulty of the boss, but because the gameplay chugs so poorly that it is not a precision platforming experience. The end of Mario Odyssey is infinitely better than the end of this game.
Yes,
the end of Mario Wonder is infinitely better than this game. And the end of Tears of the Kingdom is so much better than this. This is an indictment of our industry that people are saying that this is the best Nintendo ending of all time. You're out of your fucking mind if you think that. It's great. Like I said, beautiful set pieces, but you cannot be serious saying that this gameplay experience is superior to a Tears of the Kingdom, a Mario 64 ending, Ocarina of Time's ending, David. Like, there are iconic endings in Nintendo history. I hold Star Fox 64 as one of the best in video game history. I fucking love the ending. The good ending, right? It was so deflating, man, because I love this game. I feel really conflicted about this. And, sorry, go ahead, Donovan.
No, yeah, there's a lot of ways to go at it, man. And I without spoiling it, I mentioned it when we talked about it when the game came out. And at the risk of sounding like an asshole, there's almost like a smugness or just like a shamelessness or maybe it's just ignorance on Nintendo's part to, like you said, where it's like, this is good enough, right? Where it's like, this wasn't like an oversight or something they missed that fans caught, where it's like, they looked at this, multiple people, presumably people with very important jobs, looked at this and was like, okay. I mentioned it with the Pokemon games, where like they'll trot out a Pokemon trailer. Has been the case for Legends EA, but older ones on the Switch 1, where like you see it in the trailers, where like the frames are slowing down and shit's like flapping in slow motion. I'm like, they know they're just showing it to us because they know we're just gonna buy the shit. And I'm like, there's almost like a smugness to it, where they're just like, yeah, we know that the game looks like shit when it gets crazy. And we decided that was okay, and we know it's going to do well. And I really don't know what the answer is to that. And it was disappointing. I mentioned it, that like when they announced the Switch 2, there was a handful of people who were disappointed because they were like, we wanted them to do something different or new. We wanted them to zag. They don't do like a Switch 2. That's not like their MO. But Nintendo's messaging, they're not direct. About the whole thing with the Switch 2 is that it's bigger, it's stronger, it's faster. We know you guys complained about those games that like got choppy. So look at that. We've got the Switch 2 edition where Tears of the Kingdom runs at 120 FPS
60.
and it's in 4K.
Yeah.
Or 60 FPS and it's in 4K. And all these games you guys complained about, you know, Metroid Prime 4 has a performance mode.
Echoes of Wisdom runs better. Link's Awakening runs better. Animal Crossing runs better. Everything's better. Pokemon runs better. Scarlet and Violet runs better, right? And ZA is going to run better on Switch 2 than it does on Switch 1. But it's like, if that's your messaging, and this is your flagship single-player experience right now, it really makes me question the entire generation. Like,
it's concerning. I'm like, what does that signal for the games coming out 5 years from now on this platform?
Let's just say that, like, I had a talk with my brother, and I was like, should we sell Nintendo? I'm like, is this... And like, honestly, I will address this on Game Trader, because this isn't really the show to be talking about that stuff, but, like, it is a Nintendo-centric podcast that we're on, and I have been a very prominent investor in the company, and I don't think you guys have ever heard me say this about any game. This game made me consider selling the stock, because it is a break from that seal of quality era at Nintendo. This game is, like, it's so frustrating to me, man, because it gave me a lot of joy. Like, I love Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think it's magical. I think the gameplay mechanics and how they all interact at the end, or, you know, towards the end of the game, I think it's amazing. I give them a lot of credit for doing something completely different than Odyssey, because that good enough company would have just made Odyssey 2, right? Like, they tried something different here. And I think that there's this push and pull at Nintendo between the hardware and the software teams. And if they could have made this just a little bit more powerful of a system, I don't think we're seeing this poor performance from Donkey Kong Bonanza. But, like, I can't ignore that Astrobot came out last year and didn't run like ass ever. Like, never. Not one moment in Astrobot was I like, ew. Not once. And that's a fucking platformer. That's a platforming game. It made me wonder, like, what the hell happened that this was good enough? Why do they think this is good enough? Because it's not. And how did they trick so many games journalists into giving this a 10? Why? Why did this get a 10 out of 10 at all these outlets?
I think a lot of people were swept up in the excitement, and I mean, I'm not gonna tell people they can't feel the way they feel about stuff. I get it. I have games that I apologize for that people think are shitty, but I think a lot of people just got swept up in the hype of Donkey Kong being back. It had been so long. People have been waiting for a proper Donkey Kong, full-fledged AAA Nintendo developed game forever, and this is a good one. So I think a lot of people got hyped up, got swept up in that excitement. Um, I think it being the Odyssey team, being their follow-up to that after so many years. And I think in general, there's a larger conversation to have about this, but I hate the way that we get swept up in the hyperbole about every new thing that comes out. It's always immediately, is it better than this like best thing of all time? Is it better than like the best thing that's ever done this ever? People do it with games, they do it with movies and shows as well, where it comes out, and since these people made Odyssey, everyone's like, is it better than Odyssey? It's better than Odyssey, right? It's like the new one. It's like it doesn't have to be. No, it's not, but also it doesn't have to be. And I think that just ended up kind of dominating the way people talked about this game from the jump.
Yeah, and look, I'm excited. I love Donkey Kong. I love the character, and David and I hold the DKC franchise in very high regard.
Yep.
DKC 2, David, is still the best Donkey Kong game.
I would argue that it is as good or better than Super Mario World, which is considered the best platformer on Super Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Like that whole series. This doesn't even sound like I have my feelings about Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I am going to play it more. So this isn't me like piling on. But from what you were saying, it doesn't even sound like the best Donkey Kong game.
No,
ending.
It's not. So like,
because Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, all great ending. And I don't just mean like the credit sequence. I mean everything leading up to that, the boss battle, phases, everything.
But like, let me just make it clear: the music in this game is outstanding in Donkey Kong Bonanza. The ambient music in some of the levels, Donovan, super chill. Like, I love the environmental design. I love the NPCs, the fractones. There's so much attitude in this game, and like, I want to make it abundantly clear, I love 95% of this game. Love it. Like, absolutely love 95% of this game. But that 5%, that's when I was like, Donovan was dead right. This is a 9 out of 10. This is not a 10 out of 10 game. There were times when I was playing it, Donovan, where I was questioning your score, because I was like, I love this game. This game is my shit. But then I got to the end, and I'm like, I read your review, and I trusted your review. But like, I hadn't gotten to that point myself. And then I like went back and read your review and like thought about my experience, and I'm like, yeah, you're dead right. This is a 9 out of 10 game. And that's great. That's not a bad game.
It translates to amazing. And I said it on that original episode. I was between an 8 and a 9 for this most of the part. Like, if I had reviewed this after like the first 5 levels, it was probably an 8 for me. I do think the ending is strong. I like those final like sequences where you've got to mix and match all the bonanzas. I've said it before that Odyssey is my favorite Mario game. So the moment you pop up through the sewer in your New Dog City was like a jaw drop moment for me.
Yes.
I think some of the highs brought it to a 9 for me, but no, I don't think I was ever ready to give it the masterpiece.
I know you're busy, man.
Mark.
You're a busy man. Yeah. We're all busy here. And Tears of the Kingdom is an old game. But
I'm gonna beat Tears of the Kingdom.
I really can't stress it enough to our listeners how important it is to actually beat Tears of the Kingdom. Like, it is the most rewarding ending to a game I've ever had. Like, just, you feel amazing at the end of Tears of the Kingdom. You feel like you really did accomplish something. In this, I just was like, oh, thank God it's over. Because that boss battle is a wet fart. It's not the design that's bad. I mean, the performance. It literally took some joy out of my experience. And I just... it was a 10 out of 10 game for me up until that last hour. And then I started to see it chug like it did. And like, I saw it chug earlier, right? You know, like I told you, Donovan, like there was that... The elephant battle, the elephant boss battle afterwards. Like, for science, I went around and I swallowed up all the acid around me, and I was mining for gold or whatever. And I am going to go back to this game. I will, because I really do love the core gameplay aspects of Donkey Kong Bonanza. I think it is a masterfully designed game. I think it's incredibly creative, but it is not perfect. It's not even close. Not even close. And I really hold Tears of the Kingdom in high regard. I think it's like maybe the best game I've ever played. I think it might be the best video game ever made. So like, I think there's a lot of people in our industry that haven't beaten that game because it's long and they got other shit to do. But like, you can't make these claims that this is the best Nintendo ending ever and this is the best Nintendo platforming sequence ever. If you haven't really played the other games, your opinion doesn't matter in this regard. So it's like I did have this moment where I was like, man, I don't know if I want to. I'll say this much. This has made me consider holding my stock in Nintendo throughout the duration of the Switch 2 life cycle. I think that there will be a moment to jump off of this. Kind of like there was a moment with the... I don't want to compare it to the Wii U. It's not the Wii U. But I think what we're seeing here is Nintendo is acting like Apple. And I mean that in a bad way. Like, this is Switch 2. There's going to be a Switch 2 Pro someday, right? And it'll have an OLED screen and whatever. And it'll probably run better, right? Some of these games may run better in the future. But this is a really shitty precedent to set in 2 generations back to back. That you're making games that can't even run on your hardware again in the launch year. It makes me question their decision making. It really does.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a disappointment. So I went to my happy place. I fired up F-Zero 99.
There we go.
And I won! First race back, baby!
Oh, nice.
Yeah, 15th. My 15th first place.
That's pretty
wire to motherfucking wire. First place. I start the funnel, David. I'm in 3rd place. Each lap, I was in 1st place. I was on Mirror Red Canyon 1, I believe was the track that I did it on.
Nice.
I fucking love that game. And it runs perfectly. Can you imagine a 15 frame per second slowdown in an F-Zero game? How I would have shit on that? That's what I mean. Like, I'm not here to hate on Nintendo. I get called a Nintendo fanboy all the time. But I'm willing to tell them when their shit sucks. And, like, people are high on their own supply in our industry. This is ridiculous. Like, ridiculous to give that game a 10 out of 10. And everyone can have their opinion, right? And, like, I know that there were frame drops in Echoes of Wisdom, for instance, last year, which I reviewed. And I did give a 10. But those frame drops were not in boss battle moments. They were in, like, loading screens when you walk into a village and stuff. Like, it didn't break my experience like this.
Like you said, we're not performance snobs, right? Like, I'm not gonna, like, pull up, like, the Digital Foundry thing and be like, oh, how dare it, like, you know, drop a little bit. Even Tears of the Kingdom, when you do the Ultra Hand, sometimes there might be, like, a couple seconds of slowdown, but it never gets in the way of anything, so it wouldn't even have, like, influenced my review of that game.
No.
But it's something like Donkey Kong Bonanza where it is so in your face and just overwhelmingly disruptive. It's like,
and it was so hyped to me. Like, David, you've heard it on this podcast. You've seen it in our Slack. Like, how many of our staff members would be like, "Oh, awesome! You just got to wait till that last hour. You got to wait till that last hour." You know, everyone kept telling me, like, "Hey," and I do think that affected my opinion because I'm like, I'm going into it expecting a masterpiece, right? I go into it expecting the end of Mario Odyssey, which I really do hold in high regard. Like, I think that is an excellent video game. I think it's better than this game. I do.
Yeah.
And it got a 9 out of 10 at Shacknews in 2017. That's just ridiculous. Like, that's a 10. If this is a 9, that's a 10. If this is a 9, Breath of the Wild's a 10. If this is a 9, Tears of the Kingdom, thank God it is a 10. And yeah, I gave F-Zero 99 a 10. Because that game's a fucking miracle. But, like, I am willing to criticize something when it affects the gameplay.
Yeah.
And that's where it hurt me. Where I'm like, God damn, I wish it. But on a separate topic, they're making a Donkey Kong movie.
They are.
This is the movie. Take this and make it a movie.
100%. Yeah. Playing through this, I was like, this is it. This is the story. Just make this the movie.
Yeah, this is the story. Pauline's an excellent character. I think the music is outstanding. Like, the set pieces, like I said. Yes, give us the elephant layer. Give us all these layers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be great. But man, this is a different era for Nintendo. It really is. Nintendo in 2017 had their backs up against the wall. Iwata had just recently passed away 2 years before. They were struggling. The Wii U was a failure. They had to swing for the fence. They're just bunting in 2025.
Yeah.
And that's just
the
weird.
only silver lining devil's advocate I could put out there is that hopefully this is just like a isolated incident as far as like the performance stuff goes, because like you said, like Metroid Prime 4, they've already touted that it's got the 120 FPS performance mode. Maybe it was something unique to the way this game was made and the destruction voxel mechanic.
Yeah.
And it was just something they couldn't figure out. And maybe the next 5, 6 AAA Nintendo games come out and they do run flawlessly on the Switch and they look beautiful and all that. But I hope it's another.
I can't help, and I am not a Sony fanboy. I'm not. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the Astrobot cameos and stuff just didn't do it for me because I didn't really have a PS1. Right. But I can look at the particle physics in Astrobot, and then, like when you're on the ice cream level and you're throwing sprinkles around, and I can look at the particle physics in Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I can tell you Astrobot's better, and PlayStation 5 runs the game better. And for this to be the brand new system from Nintendo, and we're still talking about this, sucks. Now, we're not talking about that with Mario Kart World. Sorry, go ahead, David.
No, I was going to say, what's sad to me is this is going to be one of those games, hopefully it'll be one of those games where people say, man, those first year games were kind of rough, but, the last year we got this, that, and the other. Like, you look at God of War on PS2. That couldn't have happened in year one. It just couldn't have. But Nintendo is known for creating system sellers. Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, Breath of the Wild. And this is not that because I think of its flaws. Independent of anything I've said about it, how I feel about it. Like, this is really too bad. This is going to be that, it's a year one game. You kind of have to forgive it sort of thing.
And I think back to Tropical Freeze on the Wii U. And I know it wasn't a system seller, but it's one of the best games they had on that generation. Right. This is not that. Like, I hold Mario Kart World above this. I really do. I think Mario Kart World runs well, does the things it needs to do right. But it's like, this is a podcast that was born out of me not reviewing the Switch 2 yet. And I feel like I am now approaching my review for the Switch 2. Like, I'm circling it. I have my thesis is forming. And I do want to wait to see what happens this week, because in theory, Nintendo should announce something for Mario's anniversary on September 13th. We're recording this on September 8th. So it's like, we'll see what they have to say here. But game key cards, third-party software support, the lack of dev kits, this final sequence in Donkey Kong Bonanza with frame rates below 20 FPS. I'm starting to see this as like, they're not trying that hard. And that's weird.
I think over the weekend, I don't know if you want me to save this for your review, how you described it to me, but the good enough generation.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how it feels. Yeah.
It's good enough for now.
Right, for now.
Because no one else is resting on their laurels in this industry. Like, they're going to come for them. And this is a $500 system if you buy the bundle, $450 if you don't in America. Like, this is a large purchase that people have to make. Now, I do think it says a lot that there was no Donkey Kong Bonanza bundle, and that the next bundle is going to be Pokemon. Like, that's how you move. I want to bring this up before we end the show. I was at Meijer over the weekend, David. I saw 4 Switch 2s in stock. And one of them, or at least one of them, was the Mario Kart bundle. That's the first time I've seen a Mario Kart bundle in real life at a store. And, if you watch my stupid Canton, Ohio weather report video, shout out to my personal YouTube channel, I talk about the economy in Ohio a lot. And the global economy, and also just the economy in the United States. Things are not going well here. Cost of everything is going up. People's wages aren't going up as fast as the price of everything they buy. And I don't know if people are going to have the money to pay for these very expensive Nintendo games and these very expensive Nintendo accessories and the very expensive Nintendo system itself. This is 50% more expensive than the original Switch. Now the original Switch has been increased since then, but like, it's this is a different Nintendo. Nintendo used to make very affordable products for everybody, and they used to have like a standard of quality to them too. And I don't know. I wonder like, because I think they're going to report sales here in November for their most recent quarter or whatever. I think we're going to see a huge slowdown in hardware sales. Like, the early adopters showed up for the Mario Kart bundle, and it sold, 6 or 7 million units? But I wonder, Dom, and I'm curious what you think, do you think that the Pokemon bundle is going to cannibalize sales right now? Like, why would I buy this if I want to buy a Pokemon? Why would I buy a Switch 2 right now when I could wait a month and buy the Pokemon bundle?
Yeah, I mean, not only the bundle, but also Pokemon Legends ZA is coming to Switch 1.
Yeah.
It's going to be in both. It's a dual...
Yeah, it's that straddle. Game, I believe. Yeah, but same with Metroid Prime 4.
That's true, too. Yeah, that is also going to be on there.
But that's not... To Dave's point, that's not a system seller. Pokemon will be. But is it... Like, how... I guess the question is, how bad does it run on Switch 1? Well, I don't think we've seen a demo of it running on Switch 1.
I don't think we have, no. They've very intentionally only showed us that game on Switch 2 everywhere we've seen it. But if you look at history, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet did crazy buku numbers on the Switch 1. So
and it ran like ass.
Yeah, a lot of millions of people were like okay with how that game looked and ran on Switch 1. So I can imagine if you're someone who wasn't like, itching to upgrade to the Switch 2, you might be like, it's fine enough to play Legends ZA on the Switch 1 if you play the other ones there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not ready to pay what, $450 for an extra 30 frames per second. It depends on how you feel. I think a lot of people are going to buy that game on Switch 1.
Because if you think about the Wii and the trajectory of the Wii, it was like the hot shit in 2006, right? Like, everyone had to have it. 2007, sure. By 2009, when the economy fell off a cliff globally, it was already seeing a downturn, right? Like, it went on to sell 100 million units, but those first 3 years were kind of peak for Wii. And then, obviously, the dark days of the 3DS and the Wii U, which they saw 3 consecutive years of losing money. I don't think they're headed back there. I think the Mario movie coming out is a big deal, right? That's coming out in April of next year. There's a Zelda movie coming down the road. This is a very different company, is my point. And, like, I'm not saying that I'm not claiming Doom is here, but it's an expensive system in a world where you can still play Pokemon on your first Switch. I think we're just watching the Switch turn into an iPhone-like product where you'll get one when you need to get one, kind of thing. It's like, there's finally some game. Like, I don't know, for someone, maybe it's like a Xenoblade Chronicles game. That'll be the reason to get it, right? Because Monolith Soft does an amazing job of optimizing games for Nintendo hardware. They're probably the best in the business at that. So I wonder if there is a cliff for demand for this thing that people are not pricing in right now. Like, that because of the price increases, because of the tariffs, because of just the broader economic headwinds that exist right now, like, I don't think it's possible for them to hit the 153 million units that the Switch 1 sold. I never thought that. But, like, what is the market for this product after you get past the hype of the original launch year, right? Like, where is this going? Because software is going to have to drive sales, to your point, David. And right now, Mario Kart World is the software driving sales. And Donkey Kong's selling well. It's not selling poorly. Like, if you look at the external data that we're getting from, like, retail and these analysts, it's selling well enough. But I'm used to a higher quality experience, I guess is all I'm saying, from the first party Nintendo games. Like, it's one thing if Elden Ring runs like ass in handheld. That's one thing. This is an entirely different thing. That, like, I was, like, angry and upset playing the end of Donkey Kong Bonanza. And that just, people having heard me talk about this game for I don't know how many weeks straight now, probably like 2 months, or a little less, like 7 weeks straight, it felt like a wet fart ending. That being said, I am interested in playing the New Game Plus, Donovan.
I was going to say, New Game Plus, but even before that, just the post game. There's like new stuff in the post game. That's worth checking out.
Yeah,
I'd say it's actually a pretty dense, a bit of content to get through.
Because I want to go back to my real passion in this game, which is just breaking rocks with rocks and finding gold.
Okay, since we're saying spoilers, there's one thing I wanted to mention. I had kind of hinted at it before when you were saying how much gold you were amassing earlier, and I was kind of saying, like, gold is like infinite. Like, you get to points in the game where you can kind of just farm gold infinitely.
Yeah.
The race course level where you go up onto the top of the big trophy, and almost the whole thing is made out of gold.
Yeah.
You could just sit there, go elephant, and just like vacuum all the gold out of it. Go to the next layer, come back, and do it again.
Yep.
Which is what I had to do at the end, where they're just randomly like, "Hey, you need like 20,000 gold to like open the door to keep moving through the store." I was like, "Oh shit!" I had not amassed much gold, so I had to like go back and was like vacuuming.
I ended with around 330,000 gold nuggets. So yeah, I didn't run into that at all. And I was just throwing my, the guy, when you build your little house, the guy who sits outside, he asks for a tip. What is the point of that?
I don't think there is one.
Okay.
I don't think anything changes. Yeah, I think
I was a big spender. I kept giving him the 10 nuggets every time he asked.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I did too. And then at one point near the end, I didn't, just in case there was content there. I didn't know something different would happen. And
yeah,
that's also something I didn't notice. Maybe it's like an Elden Ring thing where like the guy secretly takes money from you in that castle. Maybe he like siphons your coins away or something if you don't tip him.
Yeah, maybe. While you're asleep, right? Because you are sleeping right next to him. Yeah, like, I don't want to sound all negative, but like, it's just, I've heard a lot of hyperbole about this game, and I don't agree at all. Like, I think that it's David, you asked me before the podcast, you said, is this still your game of the year? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know yet. I need to beat Doom. I need to beat Doom.
Okay. I was gonna say, for curiosity's sake, what is like the number 2? What's right there? What would overtake it if it was to fall right now?
Doom. I'm not the biggest RPG fan, but everyone talking about Expedition 33, I have to at least consider that as a potential. And yeah, Hollow Knight Silksong has appeared, and that is kind of my vibe. Like, I love side-scrolling platform games that have like action mechanics and stuff. So like, I enjoyed Hollow Knight 1 quite a bit. I didn't beat it, and I kind of like, this makes me, David, what you're saying makes me want to go back and play Hollow Knight before I play Silksong. But for the purpose of content, I may have to play Silksong. Maybe I'll bounce between the two of them or something. But like, I think Silksong is a legit contender, Donovan. And then I think Metroid Prime 4 is a sleeper hit. Like, I don't think it's going to sell the most or anything, but I played it. I've played it in mouse mode at 120 frames per second at 1080p, and that was awesome. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not a performance snob, but 120 frames per second Nintendo game, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is awesome. So I would say that those are probably 3 of them. And then just from an indie game perspective, other than Hollow Knight, like, I think Blue Prince is an excellent video game.
Ooh, damn.
So I want to bring that up again. Like, I think Blue Prince is going to be a game I talk about at the end of the year. So those would be some of them. But yeah, I would say Doom, because there was not a moment in time where I wasn't having fun playing Doom: The Dark Ages. So I would say Doom is the one that I really want to get back into, and then Hollow Knight Silksong's right there. And I'm not ignoring Expedition 33. Like, I think that's a game that I have to at least consider. Because, last year with Metaphor, that affected my ranking as well. I think as I've gotten older, I've started to enjoy turn-based games a little bit more.
One of us.
You're young. But, like, and it's funny, like, Pokemon ZA is going the other way, Donovan. That's, like, real-time battle.
I know. I'm a little worried. I wrote a feature where I just theorized maybe Gen 10, maybe they're preparing us for a mainline Pokemon game that's not turn-based.
But like, but I don't want to sound all grumpy about this. Like, I do think that there are moments of sheer joy in Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, it is a beautiful game. It is an adorable game. And it has a lot of that Nintendo magic with the music and the design and all those things. But it's weird to see a system that's brand new have this showcase piece and have it run like it does at times, especially at that crucial moment, that like payoff moment, because that didn't happen in Tears of the Kingdom. Like, the final series, I don't even want to call it, like, I don't want to spoil it. The end of Tears of the Kingdom is the best ending in a Nintendo game. It just is. Mm-hmm. And this is not. But that reveal of New Donk City was amazing. Like, it was stunning really cool. And cool. And I even knew it was happening, right? I knew it was coming. But that elevator, like that whole ascension moment was really magical. And I was like, this is that Nintendo magic. That it felt like the crumbling castle in Ocarina, Dave. It felt like navigating the tunnels in Star Fox 64 with James McCloud in front of you, right? Like, it felt like that. But then, like, you get to that payoff, and it's like, huh. But yeah, like, I don't want to take away from the joy I had. I played Donkey Kong Bonanza for 80 hours before I beat it. So clearly I like that game. But I won't be able to settle on my game of the year until I beat Doom the Dark Ages, I don't think. And I obviously need to play Silksong. Those are probably the top 3 right now.
I will say, just to kind of put a bow on this, I am interested in how engines will factor into the Switch 2 performance. Like, id Tech is known for performing really well. That's why I hope Doom the Dark Ages does come to Switch 2 specifically. No cross-generational support. Just make it a Switch 2 game. I want to see how id Tech runs on that hardware.
Yeah, we did it. That was a Donkey Kong Bonanza Spoilercast at the end of This Week in Switch 2. So, if you finally came back after beating the game, let us know what you thought of the ending. Do you think the performance was as bad as I did? Obviously, Donovan mentioned it in his review. We made one video about it, and boy, people got super defensive about it when we posted that.
That's true.
And it wasn't even what we're talking about. It was just like a gold level early on. It was like one of those side levels. I do want to say that, like, the challenge levels are good platforming experiences at times. Like, they are.
I like those a lot, yeah.
Not all of them, but, like, the completionist in me does want to try to go back and do some stuff there. But also just, we have a lot of games we have to play for consideration for the Shacknews Awards. So I'm putting down Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I'm picking up F-Zero 99 and playing that every day again because that's my favorite video game of all time. And yeah, it still is. So that's the thing about the Switch 2. As much as, like, we can talk smack about it, it's definitely I'm still playing the same. Like, I was playing these games last year, right? Like, David, you're still playing Animal Crossing. Now it just loads faster. Like, you know, like, that's the thing, is that the continuity of the eShop this generation is a tailwind for them. So that's why there's, like, there's this push and pull of how I'm judging this game, or this system. But I'm going to wait until the end of this week, because I want to see what they do for Mario's 40th. Because if they don't do something special, it kind of supports the thesis that this is just a good enough generation. Like, if all we get is a Mario Odyssey Switch 2 edition, that's not it. You know what I mean? Like, that's that cash grab kind of shitty thing that they could do. And that would be lame. But yeah, we'll see. You know, I don't want to judge it until then. But I'm really glad we waited for Donkey Kong to come out before reviewing the Switch 2 hardware. Because I think it shows its limitations. It shows the limitation of software development at this moment, but it also shows the limitation of the hardware. And the design decision of putting game chat in there and how that affects the RAM available to software. Like, there's so many decisions that they've made here. And I can't, game key cards, the storage issues. I've already had to juggle storage, Donovan. I had to delete Madden so I could install NBA 2K.
I've gotten to that point too. I've also had to start making room for things. Yeah. So
it's happening already. And that's before COD releases on this thing. Which, will that happen? Stay tuned. So yeah, if you like this, you probably saw it in a vertical video format and not in this long form format. But if you did make it all the way through this, like, follow, and subscribe. I actually witnessed what it feels like to watch this without YouTube Premium a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit. We are never going to monetize this show. This show will not be monetized going forward. On YouTube. If we ever get a hers deal or hims deal or a fucking like an ad read for a coffee company, maybe we'll do that. You know, but no way are we gonna have these the interstitial video ads like in between. Like, I saw how egregious YouTube has become with their ads in long form content. This is gonna be free to watch because we're just happy to chat with you folks. And we'll find other videos to monetize. Because, like, if I were a listener and I was being bombarded with ads like 20 times an episode, I wouldn't watch. So we want you to watch this. We want you to listen to this. So yeah, we're not going to be running YouTube ads on our podcast episodes. Because holy shit. I just saw it. I saw my brother do it because he wasn't logged into YouTube Premium at the time. And I was like, oh my God. And I know that's like a place of privilege to come from when you can afford YouTube Premium or whatever. But it's like the one thing I'm like, from my cold dead hands, you're not going to take YouTube Premium from me. Because election years in Ohio are absurd if you don't. And even just right now, the way the monetization is on the platform, like, oof. So yeah, if you made it this far, give us a like, follow, subscribe. Thanks for listening. If you found us through a vertical video, we'll have more coming. We got hot takes this episode for sure. So yeah, that'll do it. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.